Right, here I am down at Spiny Castle again. I stayed away from Fairy Village because it rained yesterday. Same with that place. Whenever it rains, it can be a bit of a pain in the arse. Okay, this video is on the issue of fairness. Well, because it's quite easy, isn't it? I've done it. I said to God only the other day, excuse me, come on. You are taking the mickey. This person's got a beautiful wife. That person's got a beautiful wife. That person's got a beautiful wife. That person's got a beautiful wife. Excuse me? You point me at someone who's married. I'm sure they didn't have to go through that. Now, come on, be fair. As soon as you say be fair, you take your understanding completely out of it. You put it into a worldly situation. It becomes worldly rather than godly. Because fairness is based upon the fact that we look pretty much the same, we're the same sort of age, so we should have the same opportunities. We should have the same things given to us, based upon the fact of, who we are and everything. Yeah. Problem is, God sees the picture. God knows exactly what's needed. He knows exactly what you need, exactly what they need. I give to this person, and I give to you, and I give to that person, I give to the other person what I give. It's got nothing to do with you at all, what I choose to give. If I've chosen to give generously to someone else, it's got nothing to do with you at all. God says it's his to give. He will give what he chooses to give from his supply. The thing of it is that because, I've said this before, because churches are the same. They have the same pattern. They employ ministers that are basically identical to each other. They've all been trained in exactly the same ways. Once a few of them start bowing down to the government, they all just follow suit, don't they? They all just bow down. So churches are pretty much identical. Now, should it be that way? No. Shouldn't be that way for the same reason as God doesn't give us all the same stuff. Because we're different. Because we are individual. Because we're individual, God deals with us on an individual basis. Churches are supposed to be the same. They're supposed to be individual. They're supposed to be dealt with on an individual basis. But because they're not, that's why people in churches expect God to deal with everyone in the same way. You give to that person, but you're not giving to me. But it's through an understanding, not of God, because their churches are not of God. What they see, basically, in the church is of the world. The system that brought in. They brought a system in because the way they understand it, if it works for them, it should work for us. That's a worldly understanding. It's not a godly understanding at all. That's why all churches have got the same pattern. Same amount of songs, same everything, right? Basically the same. That's why most churches now, they don't do bread and wine, they do cracker and red juice. Right? The reason why I do cracker and red juice is because of the fact that the other churches are doing it, so they just fall in line. Because if they do it where they do actual wine, and some kid walks out a little bit tipsy, church can be reported for giving alcohol to underage children. Could get potentially into trouble for that, right? And it's all based on fear. So therefore, rather than face the possibility of being in trouble, we just do it that way. That's why churches, do they check with God? Really check with God? Do they spend time in prayer seeking God before they bring someone else in to maybe let them take care of the kids? No. No, of course not. No, because they do a police check. Police check I do. Wouldn't it? Really? Wouldn't that do? Isn't that how every other church is doing it? And there you go. Ding. Ding means it's okay because everyone else is doing it. It means that if something goes wrong, it's not your fault. You did what was reasonably expected of you. You consulted the world. That's what it means. When you do that, you're consulting the world. The world can only tell you who's done something, right? The world cannot tell you who's going to. God can. Right? God knows the path the person's on. He knows, generally speaking, based around the personality of the person and the situations they're going to get themselves into, are they at risk of behaving in a certain way that's bad? Yes. So therefore God will say, well, just don't let them work in that area. That's fine, you're protecting yourself by doing that. Yeah. As I said before, if God wants you in trouble, then he's going to get you in trouble. But if you use the world system and you don't use God, you have not done what you're reasonably expected to do. Not in any way, shape or form. You've done what the world reasonably expects you to do, not what God reasonably expects you to do. That's the thing. Fairness is not based around a godly understanding. It's based around a worldly understanding, because everything about the church is worldly. Yeah. Apart from the things that should be a bit more worldly. You know, worship. Worship should be a little bit more worldly, shouldn't it, really? It should be more worldly in the sense of professionalism. I've said this before. When you have a worldly group, they work at it. They practice. Right? They spend hours upon hours practicing. Because they're playing in front of an audience. They want the audience to like them. They don't want to be off key. As soon as they're off key, there's so many other groups out there, they're going to nick their spot, aren't they? Any group that isn't off key is going to be booked in for next week, they won't be. So their hopes for a big break, gone. They're playing for an audience of humans. You're playing for the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. You're playing for the Creator of heaven and earth. And you are performing like that. You know, you barely practiced. Come on. You barely practiced that. Wow. Yeah, that's a problem. That is a problem. That's where you get a problem, where you have the minister, person speaking. That person, basically, if it's a outside speaker, he will contact the church and say, I'm speaking on this subject. You know, this is the subject, and these are the sort of songs I want sort of being done to lead into the ministry, right? So therefore, the people there might get maybe a couple of times where they can practice. Yeah, the worship group might get a couple of times when they can practice. See, the way it should be is, if I'm coming to speak at a church, I'm not going to tell you what the subject is. No. I'm going to tell you, if you're the worship people, I'm going to tell you to practice what God puts on your heart to sing. Because it's more than likely that God's going to speak to me through what you do, rather than you'll be doing what you do based around what I'm going to be doing. So it'll still be very similar. But it'll be based around what God gives to you. That way you have tons of time to practice. You see, no practice at all. I shouldn't be practicing. I should be reliant upon God to give me the word. I should be reliant upon God to lead me and guide me in that. If I've got nothing, then Christy, we just have more praise and worship. There you go, you just go do that. Enjoy. Where did someone find a brick and smash it up, for goodness sake? I don't think that's from any of that, is it really? It doesn't belong. Weird, isn't it, what people do? Yeah, no idea where that's from. It doesn't fit with that building at all. Yeah. No, it doesn't at all. Oh, weird. Now, as I say, as a speaker, it's my job just to say, at the moment, as soon as that worship's finished, or even while the worship's going on, Lord, what do you want me to speak on? You know, just focus on God. What do you want me to speak on? And just be led. Not a couple of times. I've been in that situation where when they have the the time for people to share. On one occasion, I asked God about it, and He gave me something, but I wasn't sure. I thought it might be me, so I'm not going to go. I said to God, you know, if it's me, put it on John's heart, that John will look to me and, you know, sort of, yeah, signal me as if you've got something to say. But he never did. You know, so it's like, okay. Next week I was prepared, but because they had the communion, they didn't do it anyway. Yeah. Oh, yes. I wasn't able to get the wine last night. So basically, as I was walking around doing the Cooper Park talk, God said, just use what you got. So I've got that fruit brandy stuff. So I did. And afterwards, I didn't do it the way the church did it. I went a bit deeper. Afterwards, I felt the Lord say, you really honoured me in that. And so I went and got the wine today. And I got some bread rolls. It's like, Lord, I'm happy enough. If you want me to do it, I'll do 2 weeks solid communion. I said, I'm not sure if 2 weeks is what I should be doing. I said, can you leave me and guide me? What do you want me to do? He said, every day for 2 weeks. I said, okay. All right then. Every day for 2 weeks. Cool, I'll do that. Yeah. Look. See, I can't share with you what God is doing. I can't. It wouldn't be right to do so. Yeah, when the picture is, or when it's near to the time, when things start to move, I can share. Okay? I can share with you, I can share with other people. Then you'll see what God is doing. But I mean, all I can say right now is, yeah, would it be fitting for me to honour God for 2 weeks flat? Yeah, of course. So cool, I will do that, yes. And the, what's it called? The wine is something church something. The first name of the wine is church something. So I thought, cool, that'll do. It seems appropriate. Really, yeah. It does seem appropriate. So it's like, cool, I'll do that, yes. Yeah. Indeed, yeah. Yeah. Oh, with regards to the Civic, I'm going to look online to see if there are ways of getting the wheel nut off without having the thing for the wheel nut, because, yeah, I don't seem to have the thing. I got one off Colin, but not right. That's not going to work. No. It basically is a thing, but it seems to be slightly thicker design than the one that needs to be used. There is a bloke just up the road who has a Honda Civic that's about a year or two older than mine. I can see if he's got one with his car, because he might. And if he's got one with his car, I can possibly use that. Yeah. I'll go back to the point earlier about fairness. Yeah, we need to have an understanding. This is where we need the church to be sorted out by God, and we need the church to understand that we're all individual. The church is individual. If the church is individual, then so are we, right? As people. We are also individual. If we're individual, then God's going to deal with us as individuals, right? If He's going to deal with us as individuals, then we can stop thinking about the issue of fairness. We can stop thinking about all stuff like that, because we're going to understand that God is dealing with us as an individual. Look at the human body. We're supposed to be the body of Christ. Look at the human body. If every body part looked like the hand, functioned like the hand, it would be blinking useless, wouldn't it, really? You'd have the most dysfunctional human body ever. It would just be basically hand. That's all it would be. That's what the church is. Just hand, basically. Because let's assume for a second that the pattern that they got was given to a church by God, and they all copied it. That may mean that one church went to God and asked God, is this the pattern you want us to use? And God said yes. The rest just assumed it was a pattern that God wanted everyone to use, so they just used it. Yeah? They just found it practical, I suppose. And that's the point. It's a practical pattern. It basically fits everything in quite neatly. That's the point. It's not God. Why? Because God isn't necessarily neat. The way God has dealt with me on stuff. Is it neat? No. Not according to our understanding. According to human understanding, is it neat? No. I can tell you now, it certainly isn't blinking neat. No. That's why I say, we're in a situation at the moment where, you know, God is moving. God is starting to move. God is starting to do stuff now. He's starting to do stuff through his people. And there's going to be massive areas of the church that are just going to be left behind. I sent Stuart that revelation. He hasn't got back to me yet. Let's see what he says. Yeah. Quite likely he won't get back to me. No. Well, actually, I sent Bianca that, and I sent Rob that as well, and neither of them have got back to me either. So it's like, okay, great. You know, especially Rob, I'd have expected him to have said, there you go, you got it, you understand it. At least you understand it if he's already got it. If he hasn't got it, I'd expect him to say, oh, brilliant, fantastic. You've had a revelation, just beautiful, fantastic, spot on. Anything like that, or even to say, yeah, I don't think that was God. But then to say nothing, it's a blinking good job I'm not looking to man, isn't it, really? Yeah, it's a blinking good job I'm not looking to man. I'm not getting anything from man. No. Guarantee you I'll do something bad, I'll have all these people, oh, you shouldn't have done that, what are you doing that? As soon as I do something good, nothing, silence. Completely blinking silence. Do I want praise from people? No. But if it's God, then of course, is it useful having people that you sort of respect, saying, yeah, we see it. Yeah, well done. Because of course, it's not well done for me giving that to me. God gave it to me. But the well done comes in when it comes to you understanding it's God and you sharing that understanding, you're sharing what God has given you. To a certain degree, a little well done is appropriate there. There was me saying the other day, I don't want any well dones. Now I'm saying, come on, just a bit, come on, just a bit. Then I'll be like Oliver Twist, just a little bit more, go on a little bit more. Can I have some more, please, sir? More, you want more? I just want some, that'll do. Give me some, that'll do. Yeah. Oh dear. Right, well this was a topic that's been on my mind for a couple of hours, so I thought I'd better go and do this topic of fairness. Yeah. So in a collective society, where society is basically identical, then you would have to have fairness. Fairness would be an important part of that society, wouldn't it, really? If everyone is identical, then everyone should have the same identical opportunities. But we're not identical. We are so very, very different. Yeah. That song Relate says it. Maybe we're all the same, just in different kind of ways. And that's the point, we are. We're all the same in the sense of, well, if you are a believer, you're all the same in the sense you believe. That links you to other believers. But we're all very, very different. Even in what we believe can be very, very different. What we understand, what we choose to understand can be very, very different. How much we're willing to go deeper, and what we're willing to do to get there can be different based upon one person's understanding and another person's understanding. Is what it is. Well, it's like, okay. Church. I made the offer on Monday to come in today to do the leaves because I think it would be a reasonably dry day. The forecast said it would be pretty dry. So, today, drove past, there was no car there, so I assume there's no one there. I sent the message saying leaves today, didn't hear back. When I sent the message Monday, I didn't hear back. So there you go, I made the offer. I'm not going to camp out at the blinking church and say, come on, do you want me to do them or not? No, I made the offer. My job is to make the offer. Simple. My job is to knock on the door. If it doesn't open, it doesn't open. Maybe next week I'll make the offer again. Don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. That's the thing. Time will tell. Right, well there you go. I'm going to leave you to it. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.